Cheers, mix, click, and code with Boozy browsing, sipping and fixing the web one cocktail at a time.
I'm gonna jump right into introducing my beer. I actually had some ghetto version of different cocktails, but I'm just gonna do the beer this time. And Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Like a very obvious one this time.
I feel like I saw something very different, or very similar rather, when I was looking. It was like the Denver Man or something weird like that. But then I read what it was like. No, that's not good for me.
This is Cigar City Brewing. I don't know if it's the same company the Colorado Man is. And it's pretty strong. It's a 9.0% for beer. Double IPA. That's my beer.
So I thought I was getting Colorado beer. I went with, it's Epic Brewing. It's their Colorado Stout.
It's a coffee stout.
The name of it is Son of a Baptist. SOB. I got the website, but it tells you a little. So I thought this was a Colorado beer because I've been to Epic Brewing, a few of them in Colorado, and then they're like, turns out they're they're definitely a big brand, and they're based in Utah. It's not too far off. I'm working on sharing. Oh, screen. There we go. So here's their site. The beer color is not but yeah, Epic Brewing. I've been to Epic Brewing here and had their beers. So it is a 8% cacao. I think that's how you pronounce the cocoa.
Cocoa, yeah.
Cacao.
But why is it a coffee stout when it's cacao beans?
I mean, it's the leftovers, I believe, right? Is that what that is? Like it's already been brewed? Maybe no. That would be already ground.
That's a coffee bean versus cacao.
Yeah, it's the piece of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyways, this is what I'm picking. We will see. I'm pretty sure I'll like it. Taste the coffee.
Taste the coffee.
Tastes like a stout.
I think I'm definitely more towards stout because I don't know beer that well. Mm-hmm. There were a few times because I was just picking based on the cover, and I always don't really like pale ale or IPAs.
Yeah, I remember when I first met you, like you like stouts as far as beers.
I like Guinness.
Yeah. Not a surprise.
Beer I really drink.
Yours looks like more of a summer beer, just by the look of it.
Is it? But it's ginormous.
That's been my dilemma. Now that we're kind of like trying to record a bunch before the summer and stuff, like more than one a week, it's like I end up with extra beer. I have family over though, so that will eliminate. Okay. I introduced my mom to our podcast, so I'll give her a shout out here. So I gave her a chance to drink the Sweet Baby Jesus. Like, you may not like this, and then she liked it and drank the rest of it. So that's $6 gone. But I had a few before. It's not like she drank 5.
And a weird, awkward name to recommend it to your mom.
I mean, she likes the movie, and her friend says it a lot. So,
all right. I do wanted to introduce, because I think we kind of teased last time that we have different cocktail recipes, but I didn't actually show where it is. So let's do that. So there's a little bit of updates on our site. So cocktail section, about us, submit your site, episodes on YouTube. So the cocktails, we have pretty decent amount by now. There's a bunch of different ones. I think this is the one I tried last time. I know you tried.
I was going to do this. So. I told you, like, I went to the store. I had it on I pulled it up in Chrome. I was going to get them in because I have everything else for it. And nope, I ended up just getting beer.
Yeah. And last time you said something about bourbon base. I think this was bourbon base. So like,
it's like
bourbon base.
It's basically the one that I was going to do is a Moscow Mule, except it's bourbon instead of vodka.
Right. So, I mean, I wanted to try this one, but there was just too many other ingredients that I needed to get. This one was nice, I think it was gin based, but I didn't like gin base. So this was another one I'll probably try out. But yeah, so there's earlier ones to now, and then we try to publish 1 or 2 every week. So check out and taste the different things. And about it's just like what makes us different. And episodes are just linked to a bunch of different episodes. These are on different channels other than YouTube. So we also link the YouTube channel here, Boozy Browsy. And submit your site. This was the section that I should have advertised it earlier. That if you want us to audit your site, whatever audit you want, then we can submit the form. We'll actually make this a little cleaner, but right now it's just a simple forms. It's just like the basic information so we can reply back to you.
Should we say that we'll be nicer to people if they submit it themselves, or should the people that don't submit when we find their website?
I don't know. We'll actually give the actionable feedback on the email after we film it. So
yeah,
on
do the actual audit.
Right, we'll do the auction audit, and the comments like it can different. You can kind of specify what you want us to focus on: SEO audit, performance audit, or security audit, or specific ones that you want us to pay a little more attention to. Then feel free to put it on the comments. Then we'll do that.
Yeah, SEO audits are interesting because it feels like to me, when someone always said they were in an SEO audit, it was like, oh, great. So you're going to bring an SEO person in and they're going to tell you all the recommendations that they can do for you, basically. It's like, well, like there's a lot more to an SEO audit than that. Like that you could do yourself if you find the problems, right?
Why don't we just kind of explain the difference between different audits? Because like I don't even know how people understand there are different types of audits. So when we're saying audit, which audit? Because there can be all different types of it. But we're looking at specific different directions for it. I mean, if we onboard a client, we actually go through all different ones and then look at it in 3 pillars, that 3 framework that we look at. But for this one, it's more like a higher level before, so we can provide some actionable follow-up tests that they can execute, and if they need more help, then they can reach out to us. But they probably you need to know what they are before you can ask for it. So I guess in high level SEO audit, there's performance audit, there's also a security audit, and you can go deeper dive into just code-based audit, development audit, all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean the nice thing about the SEO audit also is that it's not just like it finds, if you're doing a true one, you're going to find a lot of brokenness potentially, right? Like broken links, broken maybe typos, links, you're not linking enough within content, or you have broken internal links that have changed. You could find broken links, but again, broken links from external sites to your site if you're doing a deep enough research. So it's more than because it's more on the content side as well, basically. What
are some of the things that trigger people to do the SEO audit? Like, is there any like patterns or signs that you see?
People will know and track their site. Let's say they know they're getting a certain number of people from Google or in general, and that number is changed in some way. That's a trigger to do an audit. I think another one is if you get some industry numbers and you're like, well, why isn't my site getting the types of numbers that these people are talking about? Like a similar sized company that they are, why am I not getting the types of leads or types of kind of organic, they call it, right? People coming in there from mainly Google, but now LLMs, even word of mouth, because if other people aren't finding you, they're obviously not going to recommend you. They never found you in the first place.
A security audit is a little more obvious because a lot of times you actually do that when your site got attacked or breached.
Unfortunately, I mean, that's late, right?
That's-
Ideally, you should be doing this on a regular basis, if not weekly, daily, potentially, or just with a good kind of infrastructure and support system that's doing it enough and understanding when changes are made or when security things are flagged externally, that your site is not get flagged or alerted internally so that you know that you need to make updates. If you're making the changes because you've been hacked, that's a bit too late. Yeah. You're going down a path then that your multiple of cost is in the 10 times or 100 times, even before you talk about if you've leaked customer data and you have to pay back people.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very severe firefighting, extreme situation, but we often get sites request for performance audit if it's just slow. Mm-hmm. Because if an editorial process is too slow, then you can do the audit to make sure to find out where the bottlenecks are, what's causing the slowness, and just fix it. Just going through the audit probably would be the first step to identify why you're experiencing this.
Yeah, you don't have to run technical audits or performance tools to know if your site's slow. If your page, throw it up on your mobile device outside of the wireless network, if you're looking at a page and it takes more than 3 seconds to see the content, yeah, it's slow. Ideally even better, but that's a good point of reference. Ideally you want it under a second, technically, but if it's 3 seconds, you need to make major fixes right away.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, there's very obvious ones that can be easy to fix with just a few recommendations and without needing the technical help. But there are deeper dive into it if they really wanted to fight those little milliseconds.
Yeah. And that's where performance will bleed into an SEO audit, because SEO, search engines, LLMs, not so much. I don't know that they have the algorithm to decide if they want to send people to performing sites, because they're more just showing information still. Mm-hmm. But Google, Google.com, right, or in a Chrome browser, any number of other search engine, they're going to decide if they're going to send, if there's two sites that are pretty similar, but one's fast and one's slow, the fast one's going to get up front.
Right.
And if you're 5 down the list on a mobile device, the person's never going to see it or never care to look for you.
Yeah. And then I think you mentioned kind of performance bleed into SEO, but security also bleed into performance as well.
So, well, and SEO.
SEO.
Because they know, they're crawling your site, so they know if your site's secure or not. If you're on an outdated version of a CMS, outdated version of some kind of libraries, JavaScript libraries, they already know to flag those sites. They do not want to send people to malware infested sites or potentially malware infested sites, because then I've done enough presentations on this around SEO and performance. Google, the reason Google wants to send people to performance sites is because people's impression of Google is the site, that performance time. So if that site is slow, they think Google is slow. It's kind of weird, the connections that people make, even though it's a totally different brand, totally different website. But in their mind, why am I getting slow results?
Right.
So that's when Google decided, well, we're never going to send you to a slow page again.
All these 3 audits really are interconnected. If your site is really struggling and then it's really causing your revenue and everything, then you might consider looking at all 3. But if you really on short of time and just wanted to look one specifically for a specific reason, then that's the differentiation for different audits that can be done.
Yeah. And audits aren't that expensive. We offer a free audit, and it's pretty comprehensive. obviously it's a lead magnet thing where we want to get your information and then talk to you about it. But that's because we want to help you. If there's problems, we want to be able to be the one to help. So you should be doing audits. If you don't have an internal team, you should still be doing them every month or two, because things change very quickly. Not things on the outside, but if your CMS is making updates to itself, like if you're on a host that'll make updates, things change quickly and things break. People make changes to content and they break links, or they change titles. Their plugins get updated and they break things, modules, all those things, right? So every month or two, I would say, like, we would do it if you're engaged with us, it's happening monthly and it's happening on every release. Like, that's just a thing that happens because it's not like a huge cost for us to run tools to do these things.
Yeah, and we monitor so that we prevent all these weird things to happen before they happen. So it's also we promote free audit because it's easier to transition to clean up or migrate or do work on the cleaner site. So we actually promote the free audit regularly because we want to make sure the site that we're working on, it's easier for us, as well as it's more cost effective for the clients if the site is relatively cleaner and it's audited more relatively recently. So that's why we promote it, and then we also run it for free in the beginning because like we need to evaluate the state of the site. In order to do that, we need to run the audit to make sure we're looking at all the angles that we need to look at to make sure that site is clean and secure and performant and also SEO optimized.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of our process. We're going to get a baseline, and hopefully you'll want to use us. So then we take that baseline and we're going to implement all these changes. And that's the first thing we do. Like, we're going to get all the things updated that need to be updated, all the cleanup, as many performance things we can. Obviously, there could be a list that go on later, but that's our first release, and that's our first check. And then you go from there, right? That's our new baseline, because we never want to go backwards. It can happen, but you never want to go backwards from the next kind of improvement. I think that's one difference where a lot of places, a lot of like one-off, like single developers doing it on the side, like they'll just make the updates, make the changes, and there's no tracking. There's no like, how did things improve? Typically, it's a steady state. Like, you're not going to make improvements by doing maintenance. That's a good thing. Like, you don't want to lose traction. So if you're just doing steady state, it's actually, you're doing better than quite a few people.
I mean, leading into, once you have all these basic audits done, some of the things that we also help with and then also want to make sure with most of our client is that more advanced audit. It's more like editorial workflow edits or development workflow edits, audits, because those two are actually very important to make sure that they're intact in order for your platform to be more resilient and is free of platform fragility per se. So yeah, and these are a little more advanced because I don't want to say they're secondary, but that's less apparent to some people or some stakeholders, because usually when you look for the audits, they're usually the front end side of it, like more like an audience experience is where they look at it first. But the audit for the other parts is also beneficial in the long run.
Yep. The audits for the back end, we call it developer experience, or the editor or creator experience. Like, those portions are going to flag other things as well, right? So when we go through a full audit and we look at the developer experience, and that's flagging, oh, you don't have proper procedures. Well, that's gonna be, the site's gonna probably be going down all the time. Deployments, right?
Yeah.
Or the creator experience, like, it's slow. Mm-hmm. Well, I bet the front end is slow too. And they're also not creating content the way they should because they get frustrated with making edits. So they're going to leave broken things because they've taken the whole day to make all the changes and then they gave up or something like that. Like fixing those pieces, while some people don't prioritize those two legs as much as the audience or the front end, like you said, like the thing that people see. Those back end or back office type things are actually the things that help the third, we call it a leg, but the third experience.
Yeah. And also, I think we mentioned this in a couple episodes ago, is that if you pick or select the wrong technology to do things on the front end, it would affect the editorial workflow. So if you have something that you shouldn't really use the technology to kind of overwhelm the system, while the things are going on the front end, the editorial creator in the back end are getting affected, because when they try to render the editorial section of the site, it's just going to get affected because the front end is just heavy loading things going on right now.
Right.
But those kind of things, they're all interconnected, so you can't really just look at one section and just like, that just fixed everything. And it's like, why didn't it fix it? Because we fixed the one section of it. But it just has to be all connected together and work together. So like, that's why we are looking at all three areas.
Right. So I know that this kind of episode, because we're going to split this up, is a little more abstract for most people. I want people to know, like, trust us. The next one, we're going to get much more detailed. I think we're going to go through a bit of a case study, but also kind of show examples of, or at least one example in depth of like what these improvements are, what an audit actually looks like, specifically around the SEO audit, what that means for results. Because it's good if you're doing these things, that's like a baseline again. Like, you're just wanting to maintain something, but you also want improvements. Like, if you're going to pay the money or use the time to do these things, you want improvements. So I think we're going to show a little bit more detail around, talk through the numbers that we saw.
Submit your site for a free audit. Stay tuned for the next episode on Monday afternoon.